Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Adam Partridge Auctions based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at one of their latest auctions, which includes musical instruments. So they have this 3-day auction coming up, and on day 2, the 23rd of May, there are a whole load of instruments, about 100 or so, a whole range of things that we are going to have a look at. So this auction, the buyer's premium is 24%, so whatever the final hammer price is, you need to pay 24% of that on top as their charge. This is a UK based auction, so bear that in mind if you're looking to buy something and you are outside of the UK, so import, export fees, shipping, CITES restrictions, all of that fun. So yeah, 23rd of May, so it's the 18th today, so a few days left to go. If you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, all of that fun stuff. Without further ado, let's just crack on and see what we can find. So first of all, we have a violin here with a label made by James Hardy and Sons, Edinburgh 1900. 32500 is the estimate here. Let's have a look at the images. Now, I can't remember if by this stage of the Hardy family, if James Hardy, if they were actually making instruments themselves or just importing them. I'm not quite sure, so if anyone does know, please tell me. That would be quite interesting, so feel free to comment. I just can't quite remember what the situation is there if they're importing stuff, but anyway, fairly interesting violin. A couple of really quite nice looking silver mounted violin bows here. Yeah, look very decent indeed. Can't really say exactly from these photos myself, but I'm sure the bow experts out there will probably know what these are. But yeah, a couple of nice looking bows, nice enough looking violin as well, although I think the length of back is quite long looking. Yeah, 36.4, which makes me think that maybe it's some kind of French import or something from the time, but I honestly can't remember the situation with James Hardy, so definitely worth looking at. But anyway, 300 to 500, it's going to go way over that just based on those two bows alone. I can be pretty certain it's going to go up a lot higher than that. But anyway, interesting lot to start off with. Full-size German Mittelwald violin there, 35.8 length of back. It's got a bow as well, 300 to 400 on that. Let's have a look here. Picture's not so great on this one. Yeah, it looks kind of okay, nothing super exciting. Same with the bow, but actually pretty good photos, to be fair. 300 to 400, it's probably about right. German violin, 36 length of back there. Let's have a look at this. Again, this looks like a trade instrument, nothing too crazy here. Bow looks fairly standard as well, so 250 to 350 on that. Full-size German violin with two-piece back of good colour, length 36. So let's have a look. Fairly nice scroll. I think a kind of fairly standard trade violin, probably early 20th century or so. Right, full-size French violin, Viome copy. Estimate 200 to 300 there. Let's have a look at this one. Looks like a fairly standard looking instrument there. Kind of bow as well, nothing too crazy. I do quite like this slightly odd large eye, but nothing too crazy there. 200 to 300. Might just zoom out a little bit so we can see a bit more of the instrument to start off with, because it's a little bit disconcerting to not see it. That's going to give us the problem that we just can't see what's going on. Right, Ernst Heinrich Roth silver mounted violin bow here. Okay, looks like a fairly nice looking bow there. Germany stamp there, 100 to 150. Seems fairly fair estimate there. Violin there, Two-piece back stamped gilding, 80 to 120 there. Couple of bows, let's see. Yeah, not quite sure about that in terms of the stamp. Bow's probably worth looking at in a bit more detail. 80 to 120 on that, so fair estimate. German violin here with a Bergonzi label. Yeah, nothing too crazy, I don't think, on that. Another one of these bows with the giant eyes, so fairly standard stuff there. Another German violin here, also looks like a kind of trade instrument, but with these kind of slightly more, so it's Guarneri-esque F-holes, very low quality bow. An unusual violin. It's one of these one string fretted violin conversion things that someone has created, or maybe they're made like that, and a fairly generic bow as well. Full-size German violin there, Guarneri copy, they're saying. I think it's a fairly generic trade instrument with its bow, also nothing particularly interesting there. Full-size German violin again, 36 so far. Not seeing anything too outrageous. That looks fairly standard. Couple of bows, need a bit of TLC. Don't think there's anything super crazy there, but estimate 50 to 80 is more than fair. German violin again, Steiner label. Okay, looks like it's had a bit of a mould outbreak. There's nothing super exciting there. Right, a whole load of violins there. One on the end is kind of curious. Wonder what they say about that one there. Full-size English violin labelled for Robert Bearder, 19 Mitchell Street, Ancoats, Manchester, 1924. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that itself is a bit of a curious looking one. If you like kind of amateur made instruments, 50 to 80 is fair enough. One of these Rigart Rubus violins, which are usually made in Germany, although they have a Russian label on them. Although sometimes people say some of them were made in Russia, but not sure on that, but fairly generic. There are some people that like them. 50 to 80, that's fair. Medifino French violin, another one there. We don't need to get into it too much. Another kind of generic French violin here. Let's have a look, because the people do like these ones. Well, that's a pretty low tier one on the scroll. Model Diapri, so nothing too crazy there. Companion, it's another kind of low tier French. I think we can skip that. German violin, Rushworth and Draper violin here. Let's have a look. Nothing too crazy, I don't think. German violin again with a couple of bows. Fairly standard. It's quite nice, that bow. Well, maybe not. Fairly standard, but some interesting bits. German violin here, Strad label. Once again, nothing really too exciting. Kind of generic bow as well. Another German violin here. I wonder if we might find something a little bit more interesting in this auction. Quite a nice back on that, actually, to be fair. 40 to 60. It's got a hill case. Another German violin here. All pretty standard stuff. Let's hope maybe we can find something a bit more interesting. Probably French violin, Guadagnini copy with a bow. Yeah, slightly more interesting than some of the other instruments, but once again, nothing too crazy. 40 to 60 on that. 3/4 size violin there. Not too bad looking. Generic bow as well. Let's see what we've got next. Right, so we moved away from violins here. 19th century rosewood bowback Italian violin, Ferrari and Co. 40 to 60 on that. It's got a bid already, so that's popular. Actually, like fairly nice looking mandolin. This needs some repairs to it, but yeah, as it goes, quite a nice looking one. So not too bad at all. Another violin here. Nothing too crazy, I don't think. Another German violin here. So, seeing quite a lot of generic stuff. It's got some bird's eye maple on the back there. Ooh, a lot has been withdrawn there. Another German violin. I think all of this stuff is fairly similar. Nothing too crazy there. John Murdoch and Co. violin. So this is the kind of schools program from the UK, whatever, kind of late 19th, kind of 1900s time, and they were buying in a lot of instruments from Germany and some from France, I think, to give music for music education purposes. So you see lots of those around. 3/4 Dulcis Fortis, a French violin there. Full-size German Maggini violin. I think this is just going to be another generic thing. So we started off in a fairly promising manner, but it's all gone a bit downhill. Rushworth and Draper there, 3/4. Again, nothing too crazy on that one. Another German violin. Let's have a look. It's in a bit of a state. Sound post crack there on the front. Back looks quite nice though, at least a bit more interesting. Another German violin they're saying here with a bow. So far nothing too crazy. Another violin they're saying probably German. Alright, okay, quite nice back on it there, so that's quite interesting. Looks like the front's been opened before. Maybe some funny bits on that varnish. But okay, nothing too crazy. 30 to 50, so all kind of fairly reasonable estimates so far. Primavera, it's modern Chinese. 3/4 violin there, nothing too interesting. Okay, box of violin parts, but we have no image. Another full-size violin here with these widespread F-holes here. Does look a bit like the varnish has been fiddled about with there, unfortunately, so nothing too crazy there. 2 3/4 size violins, can skip those. the German half-size violins. Okay, let's have a quick look at this. Nothing too crazy there, and a whole load of stuff we can skip past that. Right, a German full-size violin, carved lion scroll. This, it looks a little bit more interesting than the normal stuff. However, I think it is just another one of the many generic lion heads you get, but the slightly better quality one. So nothing there. 40 to 60 there. You have to say that all the estimates really quite fair. Another full-size violin there with a Magini label, quite a long back, so worth looking at that. In a bit of a funny condition, I think, so needs a bit of work. And right, Michael Plant, contemporary viol labelled a student viol by Michael Plant, Sheffield 1988. Okay, and a bow by Brian Tunnicliffe there, 500 to 800 on this. Let's have a look. Possibly a cheap way to get into the viol, if that's what you want to do. So a Tunnicliffe bow there, looks like quite a nice bow. It's an interesting lot there. Right, George Tors, a Scottish viola with two-piece back there, 1950. The bow stamped J. Richter, 800 to 1200 there. So we're getting into a bit more higher estimates here. Looks like an interesting viola. Some amateur-ish looking elements. There's the bow. Let's see if we can. Length of back is 42.6. Actually, pretty healthy size viola. Full-size German viola, 38.5, which is slightly smaller than that previous one. Looks fairly standard. Full-size German cello there, with silver-mounted cello bow. One bid already on that. Interesting kind of crackle on the varnish there. Silver mounted bow and a nickel mounted one, it looks. So yeah, interesting. I'm sure that will probably do quite well. Right, a couple of cellos and one of these kind of practice cellos. A double bass, possibly German, two-piece back, need a restoration, 3 to 500 on that. That looks fairly nice. Needs a bit of work, as they say, but not too bad. Another double bass, a Czech double bass here, 3 to 500. Kind of fairly low quality, but probably usable. Double bass, possibly German. Let's have a look at this. Doesn't look too old, this one. So interesting enough. 800 to 1200 on that. Curious. Some violin and cello bows here. One of these kind of guessing games here. Lottery. Okay, we've got a harp here. A modern crisscross 46-string non-pedal freestanding harp on tripod bass. Okay, interesting. 2 to 300 on that. Modern Celtic 33-string non-pedal freestanding harp. Okay, Luigi Poppi Palermo bowlback mandolin, flatback mandolin, and ethnic instrument. Okay, it's all fairly standard stuff there. Luigi Dorigo of Napoli, cased mandolin. So nothing too crazy on that one either. I think it's fairly standard. Pietro Tonelli, Ballback Bandolin. So nothing too crazy on that one either. The Camille Vibrant Royal Banjo, 150 to 200 on that one. Let's see if there's any other pictures on this. Quite nice looking banjo there. John Gray and Sons Cased Banjo, 30 to 50. Early 20th century rosewood backed banjo and a ukulele banjo there. Windsor banjo mandolin. No, sorry, just banjolin. Yep. J. Hazelwanter, German rosewood zither, 40 to 60 on that. Steinway and Sons, fully refurbished rosewood Model A grand piano, 1920s. Okay, so it's being sold from the vendor's home there. 3 to 5 on that. Let's have a look at the images. You might hear a bit of a helicopter noise in the background. I think there's some kind of police helicopter around, so apologies for that. Steinway Model V upright piano there, circa 1975, 3 to 5 on that. Got a Yamaha P15 digital piano, Yamaha portable grand NP30, and looks like you get a kind of drum of some kind there. Right, Johannes Morley, so John Morley instrument here. Interesting spinet, 2 to 300 on that. Arnold Dolmetsch, 20th century walnut case clavichord there. Estimate 3 to 500 on that. Quite cute little things. Right, Robert Goebel and Son, walnut harpsichord, 1972, 3 to 400. And Imhoff and Muckle barrel organ there. Interesting. That's quite a cool looking lot there. C.F. Martin 1927 model 018 guitar with mahogany neck, back and side, serial number 32279, 3 to 5 on that. Quite a nice looking guitar that. It's actually in pretty good condition, other than the few cracks there I think at the side, but the top and the back looks pretty good. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, unfortunate cracks here at the side, but the front and the back looks pretty good. Yeah, interesting guitar for sure. Tanglewood 6-string guitar there, nothing too crazy on that. 80 to 100. Couple of acoustic classical guitars there, a few more, nothing crazy. Same here, these are fairly generic, we can just skip past these. Axeman's another generic electro acoustic there, same generic acoustic there. Carlo Robelli 3/4 acoustic guitar. Gibson style Les Paul electric guitar, okay, 6 to 800. So if they're saying Gibson style, then I presume that they're saying this is some kind of fake guitar. Bit odd to be selling that, but okay. Hofner Senator Archtop guitar, 100 to 150. I do really like these old Hofners, as I say quite a lot. Nice back on that actually. Yeah, nice looking guitar. That's really cool. Smigger. Okay, that's interesting. A model LG2 6-string electric guitar. Never heard of that brand before. So that's kind of curious. Made in China. Okay, Yamaha guitar here. RGX 620DZ. I think I remember seeing these when they came out, but I don't think I've ever played one before. 70 to 100. Yamaha RGX 121Z. That's kind of like lower budget, I think. One of that. Stag bass there. Spur bass. And the budget land there. Some mixed pedals and things. A couple of small guitars there, generic guitars. Hofner 6-string shorty guitar. J&D electric guitar. Axis guitar there. Governor guitar. Gould, and this is all fairly budget stuff. PV amp there. Black Star, interesting gramophone. 19th century upright walnut symphonium there, quite an interesting one. 2,000 to 3,000 on that. A little bit detached from what we look at, but it's fairly interesting looking item. I think there are a few other instruments somewhere along the line. Music box here is a little bit detached. Same here, but I think there's some other wind instruments that are after this. Another polyphon there. Right, we've got an ebonized 56 key concertina there. It's actually quite a nice looking one. It's quite interesting. That one, J.J. Vickers and Sons. R.J. Ward and Sons, concertina there, 2 to 300. Lacanau, 100 to 150, so it's a good few concertinas here. 19th century one there, 40 to 60. 31 key melodeon. Piano accordion there by is it Offred or is it not? I think it's meant to be, is that not Orfeo, I think? But maybe I've got that wrong. Hohner chromatic harmonica there. Beston & Co. silver-plated prototype tenor horn. Interesting. And something else, plated trumpet, that's no image. Booz & Hawkes Empress flute and modern clarinet. Booz & Hawkes Imperial tuba. Paul Moriat custom class soprano saxophone, 800 to 1200. With its case and everything. The Boucher silver-plated alto saxophone. Trevor James & Co. Alto saxophone there. Buffet Crampon Paris. Rosewood bassoon with nickel mounts, 2 to 300 there. JTL London. Clarinet there. And another clarinet, A. Chapel. Vintage set of bagpipes there, fairly interesting, 60 to 100. That's kind of orange parts there. A modern ebonized oboe, 20 to 40. And now I think turntables and things, we are towards the end of the musical instruments. If we have a look at the list, we can probably see, yeah, we're in turntables, and then it will at some point change, I think, to, yeah, kind of antiques and things. So yeah, there we have it. That was the kind of musical instrument part of the Adam Partridge auction, which is due to finish on the 23rd of May. Actually fairly interesting auction. A few kind of cool stuff, a few interesting bowed instruments, guitar, a few other bits here and there, so definitely worth looking at. I'll put a link in the description as always. So thanks a lot for watching, really appreciate it, and I will catch you next time. Bye.